It's PGA Championship week here on Get in the Hole. Steven and John here, joining you as always. We have our burritos in hand. We are literally rushing as fast as we could to go and eat this, go to Topgolf, and have a good Monday night. We've been rogue for about a week. The Byron Nelson happened this past week. We were a bit away, had some scheduling problems, but we're back. And of course, welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast.
Fucking napkins.
You think it was napkins?
Unbelievable.
No napkins. Go get the napkins.
Okay. Do the intro.
Yeah, the monologue. Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the premium small patch eyewear brand in the industry. Stay styling and profiling from the first tee to the 19th hole in the clubhouse at tomahawkshades.com and use code USP for 25% off your next order. Also sponsored by our friends over at Bino Boards. Hop in, get your boards today. Use code, of course, USP at Bino, BINHO board.com. We are available here in the plethora of places. You name it, we've got it. Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI, Facebook.com/Get in the Hole. YouTube, we are on YouTube, as you all know. YouTube.com. So find us on there at Underground Sports PHI. And of course, follow the boys here at Get in the Hole at Get in the Hole Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Steve McAvoy, John Mavallia here. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Me at Steven McAvoy _ and John, who will eventually come back at some point, at I Make Pars on Twitter. John.
Yes.
Got the napkins?
I do.
Got the napkins. Let's strap in, folks. It's the PGA Championship week, the 1-year anniversary of the pod. We're recording on the 16th. Actually, the 19th is the day. Here's the napkins. So if you're joining us here on video, I have the Surf and Turf burrito. John's got the burrito loco. Took about 25 minutes to figure out on the menu. It was like 35 different options.
I have like 40 different types of burritos, and it was like a paragraph description for each burrito.
No idea if you can add meat if the meat came.
Like, I told him, Steve, I'm like, I have to read a novel before I choose what I want to eat. Because he told me to hurry up.
We're gonna have to give a review of this after we finish it.
I'm not gonna say anything.
All right. All right. You know what? At the end of the episode, stick around to the end of the episode. We will give you a review of the Blue Tortilla delicatessen, whatever the hell it is, at out here in Center Ridge by me. But John, our lead story here that we got to start off with before we even get into anything about the Byron Nelson and about, of course, the PGA this week, the second major of the season. We got to talk about the Saudi Golf League, what's been going on. So a recent article came out, first of all, 2 weeks ago at the Wells Fargo that we even forgot to even talk about. Sergio Garcia had a rules official problem. He said, and I quote, "I cannot wait to get off this tour," almost all but confirming that he will be going to the Saudi Golf League. A letter actually came out, though, from the PGL, not the SGL, so LIV Golf and Greg Norman's band, a different group called the Premier Golf League, actually wrote a letter out to try and band with the PGA to try and create an offshoot tour, basically throwing a whole new wrench into the equation here. Just some news updates on that end, but the Saudi Golf League will be eventually tipping off soon. We'll get more into that probably in later episodes as things come more to fruition. Also missed out, Phil Mickelson's gambling problem is now on the horizon. $40 million in debt. He will not be teeing it up at the PGA Championship following his title defense at Kiowa Island. And our lead story, probably the most important thing coming in to the PGA Championship this week. Tiger Woods, once again, he is back. He is back on the course. Shot a 67 with the Southern Hills Golf Pro Rich Cheem. So we'll see Tiger Woods there. Also rocking some more Footjoys like we saw at Augusta. Maybe we're seeing a change from Nike cleats over to the Footjoy brand. So we'll see what's going on there. But John, our lead story, our biggest debate topic. Let's get some quick takeaways here from the Byron Nelson, and we'll do a little fill in the blank here. 4 quick questions as we rattle them off real fast. Let's start with right here. What was more impressive this week? Blank was more impressive. Munoz's opening round of 60, McNeely's 3 eagles on every par 5 in round 3, or Matsuyama and Schauffele's wild final rounds of 61 and 62 to get all the way down to a top 5 placement.
I'm going to have to go with McNeely's eagles. The reason being is that I've never seen anyone record 3 eagles in a single round, all of them being on par 5s. That's an accomplishment because that's a green in regulation, and that means you're using pretty much every skill you have in your bag: tee to green, driver, your woods or your irons, and then your putter. So to me, that couldn't be more impressive.
Yeah, what's arguably more impressive than McNeely's 3 eagles is the surf and turf burrito. I'm actually going to go with Montana and Schauffele, and they're going to follow up to a new question that we have later on. For two guys who Schauffele started the week 3 over par, beginning round 2, somehow came out and finished almost sub 20. Think about it, played even par. We're probably beating KH Lee this week. Obviously, Lee, the back-to-back winner of the Byron Nelson. Also, very interesting stat. In the last 5 years the Byron Nelson's happened, 4 of the last 5 winners have all been of Asian descent. Little fun fact.
Interesting.
Bet you didn't know that. John, you were also actually on the ground at the Byron Nelson last year.
I don't know what it is about that course, but KH must really like it because, like, I don't know what it is, and that course is very, very unique. Like just the feeling and the atmosphere when you're there, it's unique. And I've been to. There's a Starburst over here. I'm having one of these, regardless of what you say.
Sure.
Like I've been to a decent amount of PGA Tour events, and I've gotten a similar feeling. But that specific event, one of those Texas tracks, it had
almost just killed myself for this freaking burrito.
Had a very different feeling. The way the course is designed, something about it must fit his eye for the post. What was he, 25 under this week? And
yes, sir.
I believe he was 25, 4 or 5 or 6 under when he won last year. Maybe it was less than that. I don't know.
Try this. This is so good.
There's a bit.
Jarrito Guava. That's actually fire.
That's really good.
That's fire.
Wow.
Jarrito Guava, please sponsor us, please. That'd be absolutely freaking dope.
As KB would say, hashtag no free ads. I feel like that disclaimer has to be added.
Whatever, it's a free ad
every time.
I'll take it. It's what it is.
We got Starburst as a free ad, and that KB's gonna kill us. Oh my god.
Gatorade. I have Popeye sitting here. What else we got?
Well, stop just naming shit now.
We got a Rangers hat. Go Rangers! What a week!
Rangers.
What a week for the Rangers!
Let's go Rangers.
Sorry to the Flyers fans. Obviously, if you've been
fuck the Flyers,
if you've been listening to us for a while, we are New Yorkers at heart, so we cannot be fans of the Flyers organization, probably more than most of the Philadelphia sports teams. Obviously, you're a Jets fan, so
I would agree with that.
So you don't hate the Eagles as much as I do, but
still, though, I won't really want to root for the Eagles to win, but they do have some exciting players on their team this year, some likable players, so it makes it a little bit easier to root for them.
So great segue here. Question 2 for our tune up here to the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
You were obviously boots on the ground at the Byron Nelson last year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you went torrential downpour, they were squeegeeing the course for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised you about this week, specifically on tour? 25 under par. I cannot tell you what the final score last year was, but very similar in terms of margin of victory. A lot of guys were in the 20 under par area. What surprised you this week at the Byron Nelson?
I was surprised to see a repeat winner, that for sure. Beyond that, though, not much. You know, KH Lee, he did shock me just because repeat winners, non-major or major don't matter. That's really, really rare. It's definitely something to look out for in the future. The only other thing that I could say that somewhat surprised me would be Spieth's performance, especially day 3 was very, very impressive for me. Tells me that he is in a very, very good place right now, and that what we saw at the Masters is something to keep in the back of our minds, because when the pressure is at its highest, that's when Spieth doesn't seem to perform his best, which is not abnormal for a professional golfer. But he's really running through a lot of these tracks. Posted, I think, 2 top 5 or 10s in a row, or whatever it is, and he's playing really, really good golf right now. The swing change seems to be working out for him.
Yeah,
and we'll see what his mindset is going into this week, because it's very much dependent on his mental headspace, how he's going to finish in any major, but especially this week at Southern Hills. The
follow up question here that I have is, who was your biggest surprise this week? Would you say it was Jordan Spieth?
No, still KH Lee was a bigger surprise for me. Just like I said, the repeat winners, that's rare. Like, it happens, talking about my mouth though, but it's still rare. Like, and for a player who's like that far down in the official World Golf Rankings, no disrespect to KH Lee, he's got some room to make up, and I'm sure he will as his career progresses. And it's good to see a guy coming out of nowhere like that and make a name for himself winning that event back to back.
My biggest surprise was some guys on the cut line. Cameron Champ found himself there. Matthew Wolff, who, despite the recent struggles with mental health problems, has seemed to have kind of gotten over it, but still didn't manage to get over the hump. And then Brooks Koepka, a late withdrawal, and halfway through the second round, we see guys like Koepka and Dustin Johnson is another good example. Guys who come to courses like Craig Ranch and kind of play a tune-up match, technically, in lieu of the next major. And again, this is another follow-up here. Guys are playing tune-up events to get ready for these tournaments, and they don't particularly play well. I'm pretty sure Brooks Koepka has had multiple tune-up events prior to majors and has never played well. Yet he manages to go out and play significantly well, particularly at the PGA. He's 9 of 9 in his 9 appearances making the cut. But with that being said, do you think players playing tune-up events are stupid, or is it a smart play for a lot of these guys?
I think I saw something statistics based that was arguing that players who play in one event the week prior to a major end up having better finishes than if they were to play in 2 events, 0 events, or 3 or more, or whatever it was. And that's not shocking to me. Just to work your game up, then play in a competitive event and feel where your game is at competitively, and then have success or whatever, or see how you feel, then go ahead and make adjustments, and you have a little bit of time to recuperate. You're not having to put your body through the stress of playing on tour for 3 weeks plus in a row. And the other thing I will add really quickly is Brooks Koepka has said that he does play in tune events, and he might not be trying to lose those events, but he definitely doesn't play well. But the guys who do play the tune events, like, don't act like they're not trying to. Not that you're acting like that, but people shouldn't think that they're not trying to win the event that they're playing in.
Of course,
it's just a different mindset, and that affects golf. When you're golfing, your mindset always affects how you play. No matter who you are, best of the best. So that's just the reasoning behind that.
I mean, like, in my opinion, I think it is a little dumb. Particularly like Craig Ranch, for example, right? Mm-hmm. The course plays significantly easier than everywhere else on tour. Super drivable par 5s. Mm-hmm. The course really isn't a. It's one of those like secondary events almost in terms of like the actual prep for it. There isn't as much necessities to get down before playing that event as it is for others. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to a course like Southern Hills, where instead of playing a short layup course, essentially like Craig Ranch, you're now going to a 7,500-yard behemoth of a par 70 that you're going to have to be driving the ball a country mile. Where some guys like DJ were teeing up 450-yard par 4s with 3-woods because they knew they could easily get it there on relatively with ease. So I find it a little dumb in terms of playing these tune-up events when you could be going to Southern Hills like you've seen with Tiger and even Scotty Scheffler. Granted, Scotty did play in the Byron Nelson, didn't make the cut, but he went on to go to Southern Hills and fire a practice round of 64. This was literally the day after he had missed the cut. So I think in those instances, you're better off actually going to the course and playing the practice rounds on the actual course you're going to play, rather than warming up at a different course. Even if it is you're playing quote unquote competitive golf, I still think it's a bit of a mute point. Final question here in our fill in the blank. Based on their weekend performances, blank, their game is going to give you the most confidence heading into Tulsa and the PGA Championship.
I really liked how Schauffele played this weekend. There were a couple guys who made either a late push or posted a really, really low round. But like you said, that the course, TPC Craig Ranch, is a very straightforward course. These guys tear it up. It's no surprise what we saw so many low scores. Just like single round scores that are 9 under or something crazy like that. So it's hard to get a read, but these guys, like some of these guys, you can tell that they're at the top of their game. Schauffele seems like he's one of those guys, and I haven't really, not necessarily that I haven't seen that from him before a major, but it's encouraging to see it now that maybe he might get that one break. on a weekend of a final round
Exactly.
major.
Well, you say Schauffele, I say Matsuyama. The two guys are dominated on day 4 of the tournament. Both broke into the top 5 to finish at a really high spot. Jason Sobel, in his preview of the PGA Championship this week, said it the best, where you determine the winners of the PGA, I believe in the last 9 years, aside from Jimmy Walker in 2014 and Phil Mickelson last year, the player who had won the PGA finished the week prior better than a top 25 spot and has had both long-term and short-term success in terms of playing golf recently. Hideki Matsuyama has been dominating courses where he is not particularly well suited for. Oddly enough, Craig Ranch, as straightforward as it is, actually isn't a course that suits his game. So to be able to go out there and shoot a final round, almost like a quote unquote like backdoor top 5, very similar to like what Rory did at Augusta. Which, by the way, a little spoiler alert, you will see Rory in his backdoor top 5s this week. Who knows? Or at least in my eyes, you will. But he had this backdoor top 5 where almost like came out of nowhere and had no stress on his shoulders. Went out, played his game, managed to get there. Guys who are playing that well, and he's been playing very well on I believe the last 3 weeks were all courses that didn't necessarily fit his game. I think Matsuyama is going to be a great bet to go into Tulsa, do something really interesting, possibly dominate the course. Who knows? Dominate the field and possibly take home a big win. Final wrap up and some updates around the PGA Tour. Might be I'm going to need a stat check here. Might have been the first time that the winner of the PGA event and the LPGA event were both with the last name Lee, as Minjee Lee took home the win at the Founders Cognizant or Founders Cup. What the hell fell?
I dropped my phone.
His phone fell. At the LPGA event this past week, while KH Lee took home the win on the PGA side. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to give you all the updates and the news about the PGA Championship. We're rolling through here. We got to get the top golf at some point and hopefully get you a burrito score. You are listening and watching, possibly, to Underground Sports Philadelphia, getting the whole podcast right here. Don't go anywhere. This is really good.
I could have done without that.
It's just spilling everywhere.
I know. I was about to say I feel bad for your carpet. You're gonna have to vacuum it.
I'll figure it out.
I feel bad.
It's all right. That's all right. Welcome back to the Getting the Whole podcast here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. What the hell fell? No Star Wars?
Yeah.
This man's going crazy. As you can see, John and I are both together for this episode, live on scene in my bedroom. It's been a wild day. Played the golf course. We played a 9-hole par 3. Didn't play particularly well, I would say, but we landed 4 balls on the Sawgrass Island green on 9, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
played well enough.
Yeah. I got nothing to say about our adventure at Heartland. No free ads.
Came about, I don't know, 2 inches from a par from birdie on 9.
2 inches from a par.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty used to making bogeys, so. All right, John, PGA Championship this week, Southern Hills Golf Course down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's going to be an absolute doozy of a course. Let's break the whole thing down for us. Give us what we need to know about the par 70, 7,500-yard behemoth that is Southern Hills Golf Club. As you already know, was transferred over from Trump Bedminster from last year. That golf course, obviously, with the news of Trump, and we'll get into that, and the way he's perceived in the public eye. The golf course was, in fact, moved to Southern Hills late on last year. I believe it was around the Northern Trust. We were talking about this, and it became a big-time story. But Southern Hills Golf Course, John, Tulsa, Oklahoma, break down for us.
Yeah, sure, bro. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a par 70, 7,500 plus yards when it's going to be playing at. If you look elsewhere online, you might find like 7,300 or 70, low 70,000s, which will probably be inaccurate for this week because they're gonna lengthen the tee, lengthen everything off the tee for these players. So yeah, it's gonna be playing at about 7,500 yards. Perry Maxwell redesigned by
Ben Crenshaw.
redesigned. No, by Gil Hans in 2007.
It's a Crenshaw course, bro. Is it not?
My notes say Perry Maxwell, so I'm gonna.
Oh
say
shit! Am I on drugs?
You're fucking wrong.
Hold on, wait. Wikipedia said
I gotta do my fucking job, Steve.
Do your job.
Well, you're interrupting me.
Do your job.
So Perry Maxwell design, redesigned by Gil Hans. What the main thing that he did when he redesigned the course, this is the most important piece of information in all of this bullshit that you're listening to right now. This is very important. What he did was he made the fairways a little bit wider because over the winter, the rough in Oklahoma, they couldn't sustain it. So he basically decided, here, I have an idea. We're going to widen the fairways and we're going to make these players hit driver off of every single tee. Reason that's important is because this course is, of course, where you want to strategically place your ball off of the tee. So driving accuracy definitely matters, mainly because you want to have a good angle into the green. And a lot of the shots off the tee, that landing spot that the players will be aiming for is guarded by a hazard, water, bunker, something like that. So it's really not as wide open as the course would seem on paper when you see 7,500 yards, really wide fairways. You think these guys are just going to be bombing it away. Not at all. You're really not going to be able to cut too many corners at this course. You're going to have to hit your spots. You're going to have to use driver, hit your spots, and have a good angle at the green. And if you don't, you better scramble well. Two long par fives at this course, over 600 yards. They're 3-shot holes. You won't see too many birdies on these holes. It's gonna take these guys a lot of focus to make sure that they're not bogeying these holes, especially when it comes down to the weekend rounds. I could see those holes being really, really important. Like I said, 3-shot holes, which a lot of times on the PGA Tour you don't see many 3-shot par fives like you will this weekend, to be quite honest with you. Other than that, the par fours that vary pretty evenly between 400 to 420, and then 420 to 450, and 450 to 400, or 450 to 500, so on and so forth. There's a good balance between that. So while I would say, or while many people might think iron play is going to be at a premium this week, and it
might be, yeah,
it will. It's not going
ultimately
to.
Yes.
It will be at a premium, but I would even say that accuracy off the tee is just as important, if not much more important, than the iron play will be this week. And a couple of par threes that they got to decent amount of par threes that they have to handle this weekend. So that's the course confidential on Southern Hills. What the players are going to be facing this weekend.
I think it's really important to make note of one thing particularly. Putting is not as emphasized on this golf course as it is others, and we were debating this in our prep prior to the show here. The four most recent times Southern Hills has hosted a major was in 09, 91, 87, and probably sometimes in the 70s or 60s. Every single time, the best score of the week has been no better than 11 under par. The cut line has always been around 4 over, 5 over. So really, putting isn't as emphasized. The big thing, though, is that take someone like Will Zalatoris, someone who ball strikes the hell out of the ball but can't putt it 2 feet. Are guys like that a viable option on this golf course? Because no one's going to be putting particularly well. So could you potentially just ball strike your way to a top 10 this week? As you eat. Sorry.
Yes, you can. But there's oftentimes a lot of these really, really elite ball strikers. They're much better with their irons than they are with their driver. And certain times you'll have a case with a player like Zalatoris where he's just as good with his driver as he is with the irons. You know what I mean? But you're definitely going to want to look for the guys who are good with driving accuracy. The Sergios of the world, who I don't know if he's playing this week or not. We just mentioned him.
Yeah.
So Corey Connors, guys like that, Will Zalatoris, those guys are going to put the ball exactly where they want to up the team as many times as they possibly can.
You know, I think Corey Connors is funny, and you bring him up, and we're going to refer to him later on too. But it's getting to the point that someone like Corey Connors and Will Zalatoris, and even like take Scheffler and DJ and the guys who are really good iron players, Also, really good drivers of the golf, and also accurate too. This is one of the biggest things that this golf course presents. You need to be accurate despite the fairways being so wide, because the rough is penalizing, and if you manage to somehow miss it that bad, you're gonna have a problem. The course isn't playing necessarily as, well, actually, arguably playing longer than what Kiowa Island was. Again, par 72, 7,800 yards at Kiowa. But again, those two strokes really do make up a difference, because at that point you're gonna get less yardage on par 5. You may have another additional par 5. There's only three on the course here. Or sorry, 2, as opposed to a standard 4. So you really make up the yardage in that end. So really, this course is going to be playing much longer. However, one thing that will be working to advantage, I'm looking at the weather report here. Supposed to be upwards of 90 degrees in Tulsa. Going to be a sweltering hot PGA Championship. Obviously, the PGA Championship usually played in August. Thanks to COVID, was moved up towards May, and it's sat here ever since. Only one day.
Chips.
We do have chips as well. One day of rain set in the forecast on Friday night, about 50% chance. So you won't be seeing a lot of rain, as you know. If for those golf fans out there. Hot weather compresses the ball a lot more. Ball travels further. Also, if it's going to be very, 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 very arid. Thank you, boss. If it's going to be arid, it means the ball's going to be bouncing pretty far. So you very well might see guys like Scotty Scheffler driving the ball 360, 370 yards. What's
Chips are dog shit.
You don't like them?
No. Gonna give my review now.
Yeah, look.
Like a 5.1.
Out of 10?
The burrito, yeah.
It's like a 2 out of 5 on owns. Good cuisine. Now, so you're going to see a lot of guys hitting the shit out of the ball. It's going to be going super far, but also it's going to be almost negated by the fact that you're going to have holes like a 655-yard par 5 that no one's going to be able to reach into. And if they do, God bless them, it's going to be absolutely epic and probably just insane to begin with. Let's get it. Oh, hello. Let's get into a little who's hot and who's not, right?
Yeah.
All right. So who's hot? Jordan Spieth.
I only have one guy picked out for this, and I was gonna look for another guy as you were talking, and it was Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't say Jordan Spieth is as hot as they come. He's gonna be in the beer money picks. I can almost guarantee that right now. He's gonna be in my DFS lineup for the tournament this week. Jason Sobel interviewed Jordan on Saturday of the Byron Nelson. Asked him, what's been the deal? How are you feeling? What's your mood right now? And he said for the first time in 3 years, he's figured it out. Jordan Spieth, when he is playing bad, plays very bad. He can't figure it out. He gets frustrated. He gets distracted. And you see him turning out 60s and 70s and 80s, missed cuts galore. That's what happened to him in 2018-19. He came back. He won the Valero. He wasn't necessarily in that mode, but he was getting things together. Top 10s galore. He's now finding his way, and I think this really means the minute Jordan Spieth says, I'm feeling good, bet on him. Put the money there. It's going to work, hopefully. I think Jordan Spieth is going to be absolutely incredible this week, particularly. He is as hot as they come coming in to the PGA. Two other guys who we're going to belabor this point more and more and more. Matsuyama and Schauffele, hot as they come, both really good track records in majors. Obviously, Xander Schauffele is a top 5 machine. One guy who actually has not been as hot as I would have hoped to have been going into this, and I mentioned him in my way too early predictions. Patrick Cantlay has not been as sweltering hot as you had hoped. Does have three straight top 20s, but has not been able to find that elusive first win of the year, despite having 4 from last year. John, who is your hot and who not?
Just Spieth was my hot, and I didn't have a knot. I still don't have a knot. I'm searching though. I'm looking.
Shift around.
I'm sifting.
So we do suck.
What? They're bad. They're not good.
These ships suck.
How are they with guac? Are they good with guac?
Not really.
Good. Thank you.
No, they're honestly not really as good.
Everybody's hot. I got nothing.
That simply means it's going to be a really good week, right?
Yeah.
I hate us, right?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we tried to prep as much as possible, and we definitely prepped a good amount. We're also on the clock right now, so
yeah, we didn't really expect it, but alas, here we are, half hour in. Coming up next, we're going to have some beer money picks, but first, prop bet time, courtesy of our friends over at Pickup. Pickup, play the headline, sign up with your phone number, and get betting today. 5 bets, all very interesting ones that I have curated, picked out, and I think will all possibly hit this week. And all of them have storylines attached to it as well. Number 1, starting off, number 1 player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, said after the Masters that this is his favorite golf course.
Mhm.
He won the Big 12 title here in Texas in 2015. He's won multiple amateur events here. He won the U.S. Amateur in 2012. Scottie Scheffler, top 5 this week. What do you think? Yes, we're going to write it off.
Yeah.
Top 5, top 10, top 5, top 20, possibly a win. Just give it all to him.
Mm-hmm.
Scottie Scheffler, top 5 this week. Bet number 2, Brooks Koepka. Well, like I said, 9 of 9 and made cuts. He won the PGA Championship at Bethpage, our hometown course. Will he go 10 for 10? Will he make or miss the cut following a missed cut at the Byron Nelson?
This one's actually a little bit tricky. I always go with hit rate. I'm big on hit rate, so I'm going to say he makes the cut. But I'm very weary of saying that.
I agree.
I'm not very confident with that. If it was Bryson, I'd be like, man, missing the cut, no question about it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is a guy who shows up for majors, no matter how bad he's playing, even though it hasn't been great recently. So I really don't know what to expect from Koepka, but I'm definitely not going to bet against him.
You know, honestly, this is the first tournament in probably 6 years that I am nervous he will actually miss the cut. Like in majors, he's almost automatic. But for some reason, I don't see it this week.
Yeah, I agree.
He seems frustrated. He seems confused. He doesn't seem to have everything in order. And I don't know. I'm gonna actually go out on a limb and say he missed the cut this week.
Go for it. I think that's the reasoning behind that. It's there. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not confident in saying that he's going to make the cut, but if I had to pick, I don't see enough that would tell me that he would miss the cut or make the cut. So it's kind of just like, well, it's a major. It's Brooks Koepka. I'm just gonna err on the side of caution.
I got you. Bet number 3, John. If there's one person in this field who you could have guessed is from Oklahoma, who would it be? It's a name we refer to a lot. And he looks and sounds like a guy who's from a Midwestern state that no one knows about.
I'm thinking either Taylor Gooch or no, he's not. He's Canadian. I'm thinking of guys like, oh no, they're from this.
Like, oh, Mackenzie Hughes.
Yeah. Trying to think of rednecks now.
Redneck.
I'll go Gooch. We mentioned him on the show a lot, so Gooch could be that guy.
It is in fact Taylor Gooch, the hometown kid from Tulsa, Oklahoma. This week has played here all the time. This is actually his hometown course, according to the PGA.com. Taylor Gooch, top 20. What are we thinking about for the hashtag Gooch Gang?
Yes, and he hasn't been playing his best recently, but it's not enough to tell me that he's not going to play well this week, especially in a homecoming. Maybe a little added pressure potentially, probably will be, might throw him off his game. But I got to ride the hype train. You know what I mean? That's what the Gooch Gang is all about.
Of course.
I'm a diehard, bro. I'm a fucking diehard.
I'm going to do it as well. At the same time, though, I'm weary because the last homecoming major was Schauffele at Torrey Pines, and he missed the cut. So
That's what I'm saying.
Who knows?
Sometimes the pressure could be too much for these guys, and it's all they're thinking about heading into this week,
Exactly.
or it's all they're trying to not think about, and that's even worse because they're trying to get it out of their heads, and they won't be able to.
Well, hopefully no one gives Taylor Gooch the key to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all of a sudden he's like he's like on the high horse, and he's like trying to go off at this event.
All right, I'm gonna eat my Starburst while you ask the next question.
Sure thing.
And I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it. So if I don't respond immediately,
Bet number 4. We're going with a matchup here.
just continue.
2 non-major winners this year. We're going 2 non-major winners in their career. Which one will have the better week? Both top 10 in the world. Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay. This conversation, I feel like, is like a perpetual occurrence. Like every major, we're like, oh, these 2 guys have not won a major. Who's going to play better? There's just 2 guys who just dominate the field every single week, but just cannot get the win.
I haven't had a Starburst in years. I forgot how good the Reds were. The yellows are the most dog shit out of the bunch, though.
No, the pink
Don't
ones
let
are.
anyone shut
Pink
up.
ones
Don't
are.
let anyone tell you. No,
Pink.
that's absurd. You should lose your title as host for that. Absurd. Xander Schauffele, he will prevail. No hat Pat. I don't think that he's in the best position to make a run at this title. My reasoning for that is just the sample size that we've had in the last couple of weeks. We've seen him play, and I like what I saw out of Xander this week. Obviously, we both just talked about that. But yeah, Xander's game. Xander's built for majors. It's all we talk about all the time. Like, it's a guy that's built to win majors,
but he just can't win them.
He can't win them, but he has so many top fives, so many top tens in majors, and he has an impressive resume. Don't let anyone tell you any different. His resume is very impressive. Olympic gold, the FedEx, the Tour Championship win, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, no, I got to go with the player who has the hotter hand right now.
I'm going to join you in there on Xander Schauffele. Final prop bet here before we get to our final break and get to some beer money picks at the other side. Winning score, like I had mentioned, the highest score in the last 4 majors held at Southern Oaks. Hills. 11 under par by Nick Price back in the 80s. Final score this week. Winning score, over or under 12 strokes.
Under par?
Yes. No, over par.
I mean, you didn't specify.
No, honestly, yeah.
And you also, I could have you thought you were referring to winning margin.
No. The final score, the winning score this week. Over or under 12 strokes.
I'm not going to say over or under. I'm going to say better than.
Better than
12 under. Yeah, because that's, we've talked about this before.
So over.
Yeah, technically, yes. But technically, it could also be under. Better than.
Well, better than 12 is 13.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So it's the over.
Well, minus what's more, minus 12 or minus 13?
Minus 13.
Minus 12, though.
Well, minus 13 is better.
No, but mathematically, minus 12 is a greater value. We're
going to take a short break. When we come back, beer money picks. As I try and debate with John what the hell he's talking about. By the way, burrito review. Real fast. Burrito Surf and Turf, 5.6. Taquitos, -17. Chips, -420. We'll be right back here on Getting the Whole Podcast.
You hyped that place up a little too much.
I did.
We should have got Wingstop, man.
Bro, I'm not feeling wings. I'm sorry.
You're crazy.
I know. The Pico's good, though.
You don't, nobody just eats Pico, though.
You really can't fuck up Pico, honestly.
I know, but you gotta eat it with a chip, though. You can't just eat it by itself.
Yeah, I got you. Final segment, beer money, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Kenwood Beer, your Philadelphia's #1 light beer. Grab a Kenny, strap in. John, top 20, top 10, top 5, gimme, and a best bet, and your winner. Sorry, gimme, best bet, winner.
What the fuck are the odds at?
Who are you starting off with? Your top 20 performer at Southern Hills.
All right. So my top 20 now. I'm obviously we know the mold for this course. I believe Corey Connors fits that mold. I was torn between Daniel Berger and Corey Connors. Right here, Tiger Woods is in that area. I believe he's a little bit too high. Louis could make a run at this. I wouldn't be surprised if Louis Oosthuizen made a run to win the PGA Championship this weekend. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But I'm going to go with Corey Connors. Driving accuracy, top tier, top 3 maybe right now, maybe. Great elite ball striker, one of the best in the business. Yeah, Corey Connors, top 20.
Let me look at who I have here. Yeah, look at that. Corey Connors, top 20. Literally, as I have it written here.
Is it really?
Well, he's technically my gimme, but actually I'm going to change it because my gimme is even better and better value. Corey Connors, top 20 this week. At what point is Corey Connors so underrated he's overrated? Because we talk about how good he is and how undervalued he is, but we talk about it so often that we already know how good he is. At what point are we now going to overrate him because we already know how good he is? Does that make sense?
No.
Whatever it is, we talk about Corey Connors so often, and he's so good. I don't know at what point his value becomes like leveled out. He's plus 200.
I'm still trying to understand what you said, and I still don't.
He's plus 200 on your sportsbook of choice. I have him top 20. He's a shoe-in play here. drives it accurately. Does not have a great putter, but he's been a great ball striker. The iron play has been really good. Also, top 5 in the field this week in bogey avoidance and scrambling. Top 10, John. Who you got?
My top 10. Let me pull up my.
Go back to the notes.
It's not even notes. I'm just looking at the odds at this point. My top 10 is going to be Willie Z. That man, Will Zalatoris. We referred to him earlier on in the show. Similar reasoning to why I'm picking Corey Connors. Same kind of reasoning that I'm picking Zalatoris. He hasn't shown that he's lost a step with his ball striking, and off the tee was where he needed to improve the most over the offseason, and he's shown that he's done that, and it's been really, really consistent this year, and he's added a couple extra yards, so I'm looking forward to see what he does in this track.
Find me a major where Dustin Johnson is plus 200 for a top 10, and every time I'll take it. Dustin Johnson at plus 210, one of the best drivers on tour this year, has been playing the lights out, mostly, at least from the far game. Short game hasn't been particularly as good, but when he gets hot with the putter, he gets hot with the putter. I think he'll be able to certainly make his 2 putts. Will be one of those few guys who might very well drive the get there in 2 on the par 5s. We'll see. Averaging about 323 yards currently off the tee this year, which is absolutely terrific for a guy his age. So Dustin Johnson plus 210 for a top 10 is my guy. Top 5, who you got?
My top 5 pick this weekend.
That was bad. That was just a grunt. I'm sorry. That was gross.
Unbelievable.
Top 5, John.
My top 5. Don't rush me. Don't use that tone with me. I really believe in 3 players this week. Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, and Cameron Smith.
Okay.
Those are my 3. Like you could say if I bet any amount, I would win $1,000. No matter, if I put $1 on any guy.
Yeah.
And the outcome was $1,000. Like they're all the same value. I would pick those 3 players.
Yeah.
Obviously the world don't work like that, but I'm gonna go. I think with Spieth for a top 5 here. It's really boom or bust right there with Spieth. I'm not confident enough to use him for my gimme, but I will use him for a boom or bust pick, like a top 5.
I love it. I think it's Jordan Spieth is somewhere on this board, top 5 winner. He's somewhere in that area, and for a top 5, he's currently actually at plus 350. He actually has worse odds, ironically, for a top 5 than Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa, which is kind of surprising for a guy who's in such good form going in. But my top 5 is someone who's right behind Spieth in the odds boards. I actually got him at plus 460. He's now at plus 400 at most books. Rory McIlroy at the Masters shot a record tying 9 under par. Had no stresses about his game because he was totally out of it. Backdoor top 5s have become a specialty for a lot of guys who are really good, but for some reason cannot start off hot. Happened with Schauffele this week. Happened with Matsuyama this week. And it's going to happen, I think, with Rory McIlroy in a second straight major. Don't think he's going to start hot. I think he'll start off pretty slow. Might start off 2 over par. But you very well might see him for some reason shoot like a 63 and just come out on day 3 and 4 and just dominate. I think Rory McIlroy for top 5 is a great play. He's kind of starting to figure it out. That swing is sort of like rounding into shape. So I think Rory's a pretty solid play here. Get on him while he's hot, though. I got him again at 460 to 480. He's now at 400 and actually getting better and better, getting more bet on. He's taking house money at this point.
Steve.
Yeah.
That might be. I'm thinking really hard before I say this because I want to be careful with my words.
The worst pick I've had?
No, that might be the smartest thing you've ever said on this show.
Wow. Look at that.
Ever. Smartest
well,
thing.
You got to realize, guys who perform well late are mostly guys who are just out of it and are just trying to go as low as they can because FedEx Cup points are on the line, money is on the line. So when you think about it.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. It's just something that didn't really cross my mind.
You don't think about it, right?
And yeah, it's very, 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 very intellectual, Steven.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it. John, who's your gimme?
Oh, shit. I don't know. My gimme pick of the week. So I'm going to roll with the 3 guys that I said that I think are the guys who have the best shot at winning this week. I already used Spieth. And that leaves me with two players, Scheffler and Cameron Smith.
Both have great track records and have played very well in majors recently.
Blooming rivalry, potentially. Yeah. Yes.
Final pairing at Augusta.
Can you pull up the odds for Cameron Smith top 20, please?
Cameron Smith top 20 this week is for Cameron Smith plus 110. Scheffler's minus 170.
I think that's the bet. I think Cameron Smith for a top 20 is the gimme bet.
So Scheffler's going to be your winner?
Scheffler. Why are you spoiling it for the people?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Bullshit, man. This whole show is ruined.
It's not.
It's ruined now.
Is it?
It was a perfect show, and now you ruined it.
No,
we were so organized. We ate before we got on, and then we went through everything I had everything prepared. I knew all of my shit, Steve, and you fucked it up. Well, who's your gimme bet of the week then, Steve-O?
Well, it ain't Cam Smith, I'll tell you that much. And then it's Scotty Scheffler either. I'm going with Billy Horschel for a top 20 this week. For a guy, like, you look at the World Golf rankings, right? And you're going through the list, and you're like, all right, yeah, like I can see that, like everyone there. And then you get to number 13, and you're like, Billy Horschel? Like, what? Why? I'll tell you why. Since the Farmers Insurance Open, 11, 6, 16, 2, withdrew from the Players. Obviously, the Players were the Players, different situation. Augusta 43rd, never plays well at Augusta, and then top 20 at the RBC Heritage. He's been in the best shape of his life. He's playing the best golf of his career. And when you're the 13th ranked player in the world and you're valued at the value this low at plus 290 for a top 20, I'm gonna take it. Billy Horschel for a top 20 this week. John, who's your winner?
Pissed off at you. I'm so pissed off.
You love me.
I'm so pissed.
You
off
love
at
me.
This guy right now.
You love me.
I'm pissed. Scotty Scheffler is my winner for this week at Southern Hills. No surprises here. I'm pretty sure he's your winner. Yeah, I'm spoiling that shit. He's Steve's winner. And if he picks a different winner,
he's not.
Because of me, he's gonna change it. Now he's changed it. He's opening his phone and he's gonna pick a new winner right now.
My winner this week at plus 1,600, Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth will win and finish the career Grand Slam at Southern Hills this week. My girlfriend's calling me. Hold on. We are in a podcast episode. Goodbye. Jordan Spieth's going to complete the career
Did you see her face
championship.
Did you see her face?
Yeah, the career Grand Slam at the PGA Championship. It will be Jordan Spieth's to win. And I think he'll also contend at the US Open, honestly. He's just in such good shape. And the minute he said in the interview on SiriusXM, I feel good, bang, like the Pitbull song, I feel good. Go. Take him. Bet on him. Jordan Spieth will win the PGA Championship, and he will be in my DFS lineup this week. Speaking of DFS lineups, do you want to give the folks at home a little DFS action?
I think we should, Steve.
I think we absolutely
we
totally
have
should.
to treat them right.
I think we absolutely should. Courtesy of our friends who we're not going to shout out because they don't sponsor us. I've curated a pool of 6 players. I think this is probably the best curation of players that I could have possibly ever thought of. With a budget of, I want to say it's like $150,000.
Sweating, man. Fuck.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, of $50,000. I have managed to curate this as my 6-man group for my DFS lineup. Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, Billy Horschel, Corey Connors, and Tiger Woods. That's elite.
That might win people some money.
That is.
It might lose you money.
How?
I didn't say anything.
Explica.
I didn't say
Backdoor
anything.
top 5 from Rory. Jordo's winning. Schauffele's a locked-in top 10 because he always is at the tournament. Horschel's my top 20. Corey Connors hits it as straight as can be. And Tiger Woods, if he makes the cut, he makes the cut. Which is really all you need.
Here's my issue with that. Here's my only issue with that, and it has no substance whatsoever.
Let's hear it.
You sound way too confident.
I do.
For all that shit to happen.
I do, which is really scary, but
because I know because I get like that with shit like this, and every time I'm whether no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm gambling on basketball or golf or whatever it is, And I'm like, oh, this is so obvious. This is obvious. Never, especially with golf. Especially with golf. Golf is the one sport where that shit you think's gonna happen, and you have it all lined up, and it's a major, especially like 50% hit rate on stuff like that.
Well, all right. So here's my other thing too, and I've been thinking about this too for my lineup. There's a lot of really good value like low down the board that you can work with, and so I was thinking one guy who's been playing significantly well, who I think will be a great play this week, Cameron Young. Cameron Young's been on fire. I think Cameron Young's
he's a good player.
He's a good value play. He's like $7,400 on this right now. I don't want to take Scotty because the number it goes Scotty 11,900 to then Rom at 10,900. So
it's
save the $1,000.
You're right.
Yeah, it simply isn't worth me going all the way out and going after him. I feel like keeping Tiger Woods at the price that he's at. I think it's like $5,600.
So what does it go by? Official World Golf
yes.
ranking?
So it goes by World Golf ranking. So
if it went by odds, that would not.
So Tiger's 5,700, which is super cheap considering the only other relevant golfer who isn't an amateur who's in that level is Mito Pereira. But Mito Pereira really isn't going to do anything here. I don't know.
Pereira kind of fits the mold.
I don't know. I'm on the edge.
Fits the mold.
He kind of does.
Fits the mold.
How about this? All right. If I take a top 4 of Spieth, Connors, Young, and Woods, I have $19,000 to work with and can take basically anybody. I can actually take Scotty Scheffler here and have money left over for Shane Lowry, Max Homa, Will Zalatoris. That's pretty good money right there. So let's say Lowry, Homa, or Kisner, or even Zalatoris. Spieth, Connors, Young, Woods, Scheffler.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad. I do like the first one that you had better, but now I'm making you second guess yourself.
No, I'm not trying to go like at lengths to like second guess myself because I think like I think the team is pretty much set. It's a really good team. The only difference is the only thing is like I have 2 guys in the top 10 in the world, but they aren't like Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm. They're really good. I think they can play very well.
Yeah,
but they don't have that like that amplitude that they jump out on the page much further than everyone else, which is the only thing that you
don't need that though.
You don't. You need effectiveness. So it's like that's kind of where I'm at. Like
sometimes when with these pools, you're right. You do second guess yourself and be like, oh, I could get this guy, but this guy might play better, and then you keep going back and forth like that.
Like realistically, I could go like Joaquin Niemann. So let's like Spieth, Horschel, Connors, Woods, Niemann. And then I can basically have my pick'em of Morikawa or worse. And if I save, and I could save $200 and get Rahm somewhere else. If I wanted to, let's say, cheapen out on Niemann or Horschel, and instead of Niemann or Horschel, I can go with like Finau or Anster or even Koepka at 82 or Oosthuizen at 82 or Hatton, Berger. Like there's so many options there. I feel like the first one though is probably the best one though. McIlroy, Spieth, Schauffele, Matsuyama, and DJ are all the same dollar amount. You can really go with any 3 of those. Horschel, Connors, and Woods.
I agree with that. I think that's the best one. But any one of those are solid.
Yeah.
For this upcoming week.
There's your DFS lineups for the PGA Championship. On that note, we are going to go from this one. The number 1 player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, is John's pick.
Why the fuck did you? Oh, you pointed at me.
To take it home. And I will take Jordan Spieth to win at the PGA Championship. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, enjoying our burrito reviews. It's been a wild show, a very, very long-winded show, chaotic show. I mean, then again, like everything's really chaotic. From one place, now we're going to Topgolf. I'm Stephen McAvoy. That's John Mavallia. We'll be back next week to recap the PGA, and I don't even know what events coming up next. It's something in the middle of the PGA calendar that no one really cares about at this point.
Zipper, man.
John can't zipper his jacket up. The burritos we had sucked. But that's all we're going to do today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @GetInTheHolePod. Also on Instagram at @GetInTheHolePod. Find us on Twitch and Facebook, Facebook.com and Twitch.tv.com/ I can't even speak, Underground Sports PHI. And of course, YouTube. Sign up and subscribe on YouTube. Get all the content that you could think of, including our wild reviews and some additional content coming up soon. Also, Underground Sports Cheese Sticks now a thing. probably going to have to make a trip somewhere and have a cheesesteak. Go follow them, USP Cheesesteaks. We'll see you guys next week. John, any final remarks?
Any final remarks?
Yeah, like squat.
My final remark is let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers, baby. Rangers in 7 against the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see you guys at the Stanley Cup.
6.
Get in the hole!